And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
Time check. Courtesy Alive by Nature's Way. Distributed by H&J Enterprises Limited.
Chief Secretary orders Finance Division to calculate costs of cargo disruption as they consider compensating business owners. Tertiary Education Minister tells universities do better to guide students into employable courses. 3 shot dead overnight in 2 separate gun attacks.
And in sport, high-flying West Indies eyes Super 8 statement against unbeaten Zimbabwe in Mumbai.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Doris Polo and this is the Weekend News here on CNC3. Thanks for joining us. In our top story this evening, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine says Tobagonians' patience is rightfully running out as the ongoing disruption to the inter-island cargo service continues to impact businesses and households. After a 24-hour delay on Friday, the MV Blue Wave arrived in Scarborough this morning, but it failed to settle growing anxiety on the island. Stefan Nicholas reports.
Despite the delayed arrival of the MV Blue Wave Harmony in Scarborough this morning, it has been nearly 3 weeks since the Chief Secretary appealed for grace and patience during the transition between cargo vessels. Today, Farley Augustine admitted the gravity of the situation and apologized to Tobago. He says unfortunate events, technical issues, and even overambitious planning has left Tobagonians scrambling for basic supplies, the disruption dealing a blow to the tourism, agriculture, and construction sectors.
I asked for patience because the Blue Wave Harmony came and there were some accidents and incidents here in Tobago with the ramp, accidents along the jetty on the side of the Blue Wave Harmony, and rightfully, Tobago, your patience is running out, and that is understandable.
Augustine said he expects the Port Authority to meet its March 1st deadline for the first commercial sailing of the MV Blue Wave, and that a plan must be implemented to ensure food security in case of emergencies.
This speaks to a larger issue that we have. As I said, we started a study last year to look at how long can Tobago sustain itself food-wise without any sailing of the vessel. The answer to that question is important.
Augustine notes that Tobago does not produce food on a mass scale, a statement that drew sharp criticism from former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. In a Facebook post, Rowley describes himself as a producer who is facing a real crisis due to the lack of feed for his thousands of animals. Augustine has tasked a unit within the Division of Finance to quantify losses suffered by the business community, with consideration being given to compensation. But former head of the Tobago Chamber, Diane Haddad, isn't impressed and describes the Chief Secretary as a failed leader. She's demanding an investigation into the procurement of the cargo vessel, referring to it as the Blue Grave Harmony.
He is clueless, he needs education in economics, and he is a failed entity as leader of this island. And Madam Jolene John needs to stop being the foundation members of FET and get to the table to the people that she has massively brought an abrupt halt in their business and hurt their financial position.
At a reported cost of US $25,000 per day, she said better options were certainly out there. The Port Authority has not indicated whether additional contingency measures are in place should the Blue Wave Harmony face further setbacks. Stefan Nicholas, CNC3 News.
With the Chief Secretary expressing his frustration with the Blue Wave Harmony being out of service, today we asked Tobagonians how they are being impacted.
The People Say, brought to you by Excel Health TT, the official supplement of the CPM.
The Blue Wave Harmony came into the Tobago space for the first time very shortly, only days after the infamous 15-0 Blue Wave result of the Tobago House of Assembly elections, and clearly the anchor holds, but the rope bus, and our Chief Secretary continues to be completely clueless.
As a boat captain myself, I know about boats and things. so anything that I'm with works as well.
This system now, I mean to say we got a new boat, yes, but it's not working properly for a week. They're working 3 days for the week. And sometimes when you put your truck on the boat, you have to hope it reaches today.
When I talk to my customers, they have various degrees of stress, but it's not as nice as they want to make us believe. And it could be nice if they just deal straight up with us, let us know what's going on with the boat, deal straight. I mean, we understand it's something new nearby and it has happened, right? But oh gosh, we're not fools out here.
The business has been slow. With how the boat running right now, sometimes you get to work today, and then depending on when it gets to come up again, maybe 2 days after. So everything's slowing down and prices raising. So it's a strain on businesses right now.
They're not reaching on time, getting a lot of delays. You know, everything is just a throwback.
The People Say, brought to you by Excel Health TT, the official supplement of the CPL.
Well, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has invited the Chief Secretary to join her CARICOM delegation to St. Kitts and Nevis from Tuesday through Friday. Augustine plans to use the opportunity to engage officials on their governance structure.
St. Kitts Nevis has extremely progressive laws when it comes to the autonomy for Nevis. And the Prime Minister, and I want to thank the Prime Minister in this regard, has signaled that we should think as progressive as the people in St. Kitts Nevis in building out our framework for autonomy.
Augustine says he will meet Nevis's Premier St. Kitts Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew and other CARICOM leaders. He has set a December 31st deadline for autonomy laws to be passed in Parliament. Last October, the government launched a national recruitment drive promising more than 20,000 jobs via the Employ TT website. But months later, less than 2,000 have been hired by one ministry, and now questions are being asked about the scale and structure of the program. Elizabeth Gonzalez reports.
Over 30,000 people applied, but only 1,801 have been hired so far, and only one ministry is doing the hiring. The Ministry of Works and Infrastructure confirms Cabinet approved the hiring of the 1,800 casual workers through the National Recruitment Drive. This amounts to 6% of the 30,000 who applied and 9% of the 20,000 jobs government promised. Those workers were hired on 3-month contracts, renewable based on performance. They are to be paid through the Finance Ministry's Employment Fund. The workers the ministry hired under this scheme have been deployed since December, doing grass cutting, drainage cleaning, and flood mitigation works ahead of the rainy season. Another 800 workers are to be engaged from March 1st. During the 2026 budget, the finance minister announced a $475 million employment fund and a $310 million unemployment fund, linking the drive to a shift away from CPEP and URP. But when asked how much of the employment fund has been spent, or whether personal emoluments increased, he said he did not have that information at his disposal. There was always an online component of the recruitment drive, but only recently has Public Administration Minister Dominic Smith distinguished between Employment TT and the recruitment drive. He says the drive used the Employment TT domain and operates as a separate program. Employment TT's terms state the platform processes applications only and does not guarantee interviews or job placement. And months after the initial surge, many applicants tell CNC3 they are still waiting. Elizabeth Gonzalez, CNC3 News.
And opposition leader Penelope Beckles is condemning the government's recruitment drive as a farce and a publicity stunt, accusing the Kamala Persad-Bissessar administration of barely hiring people despite promising 20,000 jobs after putting 70,000 on the breadline. Beckles says the Prime Minister is using the promise of thousands of jobs as a smokescreen to mask the most severe economic downturn in the nation's history. Meanwhile, political analyst Derek Ramsamouge is warning young voters hoping for opportunities families, they will be disappointed.
This is because the financial reality is that the government of Trinidad and Tobago does not have the financial resources to meet the expectation of the population.
Ramsamuj says the political blame game is irrelevant because the issues that matter are citizens living in fear of poverty. Coming up next, is Trinidad and Tobago at risk of a chikungunya outbreak? We'll have those details and much more after the break.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza in Devonshire Gornas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Folks, take a look at all these medical conditions. What does it have in common? This, ITIS. But what does ITIS really mean?
The suffix itis denotes inflammation of a specified organ or tissue.
ITIS really means inflammation. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
In the ever-changing media landscape, we at Guardian Media strive always to put you, our viewers and readers, first.
We strive to uphold the time-honored tenets of responsible journalism.
For us, accuracy is key.
And in our reporting, we strive not only to be first, but fair,
impartial,
and to uphold journalistic integrity.
Above all, we are accountable to you, and we must respect the views of our audience. That is our solemn contract with you.
Keen attention to detail.
Rigorous verification of facts.
Use of credible sources and sound editorial judgment.
Keep track of our editorial policies and guidelines, including our corrections policy, by logging on to www.guardian.co.tt for more.
We return with crime news. 2 more men are dead following a shooting in Tunapuna on Saturday night, much like the one that left 2 dead on Friday night in Diego Martin. In the latest incident, 18-year-old Jesus Sargent and 29-year-old Kyle Alexander were gunned down at the corner of Marcano Drive and El Dorado Road around 9:30 p.m. Both lived a stone's throw away. Residents reported hearing a volley of gunshots and seeing a silver Nissan Tida speeding off. 4 people were injured in the attack, but Sargent and Alexander were pronounced dead on arrival at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex. Yesterday, we reported that 2 men, Christian Achille and Marcus Best, were killed at C-Trace Bagatelle in a similar attack on Friday. And Curtis Bird Pear was shot and killed along the food strip outside the Grand Bazaar Mall just after 1 this morning. Pear of Gopal Avenue, Diego Martin, had just collected his order from Nafa Pizza and was in the process of dressing it when he was killed. He reportedly left the last Jam Carnival Fete at the Hazley Crawford Stadium in Woodbrook and told friends he was headed to Grand Bazaar for food. He was shot several times and his belongings, including a watch, was still at the scene when our crew visited. Pierre, who mainly lives abroad, was in Trinidad for Carnival and was expected to leave in a few days. Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, Professor Prakash Prasad, says government wants to expand the Government Assistance for Tuition Expenses Program, GATE, to include skills training. When pressed on the financial cost of administering the program, the minister, who is the formal principal of UTT, says the adjustment requires that universities start making money.
The question is not static in the sense that if the universities start to earn money, and this week they've been put on that path, then I think the question it becomes easier to solve.
He also says there needs to be greater communication between universities and the job market, as tertiary-level institutions need to do a better job at helping students navigate the job market.
It's up to the university to say, hey, this is the sort of numbers because they ought to be talking to the medical council, etc. So what we found out, we had meetings with the Ministry of Health. And so there is right now about 600 doctors, a little less, or maybe 5-something, who are waiting for jobs. The health sector can't accommodate this amount as that. So I think we need to have better sort of mechanisms in place at the university level, and the universities must play the role in that. That this is the number we're going to take in consultation with the appropriate bodies.
You can watch the minister's full interview with Ryan Bechu after this newscast. The Ministry of Health warns TNT is definitely at risk of chikungunya as the virus has resurged in neighboring countries. The Pan American Health Organization has issued alerts after outbreaks in the Caribbean and parts of South America, including Suriname, which recorded 134 cases and at least 1 death earlier this year. French Guiana and Guyana have also reported new cases, while the Dominican Republic recorded imported infections from Cuba. Health Minister Dr. Lacrambodo says the presence of the Aedes aegypti mosquito locally, combined with travel between affected countries, creates a level of risk. However, there are no confirmed cases in TNT for the year so far. Community leaders are endorsing the Scouting movement's ability to steer young people away from crime by shaping a more civic-minded generation. They were speaking at Founders Day celebrations in Siparia on Saturday, which marks the origins of the International Boy Scouts. Siparia Mayor Dudnath Meru told the gathering deliberate action is needed to keep future leaders on the right path. He says too many young people have drifted into violence and destructive lifestyles. Addressing the Scouts directly, he warns against choosing the wrong path and urged them to remain focused on positive values.
We have seen over 2 decades or 3 decades now how many youths have fallen by the wayside, how many have taken up guns, how many have lost their lives, how many have brought pain and suffering to their families because they choose the wrong path. I seek that these children here will seek the blessings of Almighty God, stay on the right path, and they will ensure success and victory at the end of the day.
National Youth Commissioner Nikolai Mohammed says Scouting remains one of the strongest tools for shaping disciplined and responsible young people. He says the movement gives children from as young as 7 opportunities they may not otherwise receive and helps them resist bullying and negative influences. Still to come in sport, West Indies women fall to Sri Lanka in a thrilling second one-day international clash.
Folks, take a look at all these medical conditions. What does it have in common? This, ITIS. But what does ITIS really mean?
The suffix itis denotes inflammation of a specified organ or tissue.
ITIS really means inflammation. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
Dress like you mean business. At The Working Woman, we bring you stylish, professional looks made for the modern woman. From casual to formal workwear, we've got your professional wardrobe covered.
The moment my children came into my life, I do everything I can for them to live healthy, enjoyable lives. Nature's Ways Alive Kids Gummies are multivitamin gummies meant to support the development of children's bodies. They come in delicious fruit flavors and contain natural plant-based pectin. This means that if I'm looking for an alternative to animal-based gelatin for personal reasons, they are the best choice for my little ones. Choose Alive Kids Gummies by Nature's Way for your children because they deserve it.
Are you tired of the same old boring drive home from work?
Look no further.
Get ready for the ultimate after-work rush with Freedom 106.5 FM's The Overdrive with Davey. Mondays to Fridays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Davey take you on a thrilling ride of non-stop entertainment and education. He covers the topics of the day, delves into the latest food and lifestyle trends, and brings dynamic guests from exciting professions to share their professional stories and experiences. Take advantage of this energizing and engaging experience. Tune into Freedom 106.5 FM, Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for The Overdrive with Davey, the ultimate way to end your day with a bang.
Welcome back. Bowling off tonight's sport, the West Indies will look to continue their unbeaten march at the T20 World Cup when they face a confident Zimbabwe in their opening Super 8s contest in Mumbai tomorrow. Rajiv Surat Singh previews the encounter.
The Windies have been clinical so far, winning all 4 of their encounters, including an impressive victory over England. They have overwhelmed attacks, and much of that success has revolved around Shai Hope's composure at the top. The right-hander has struck back-to-back half-centuries, blending stability with intent, while Shimron Hetmyer has seen a resurgence at number 3. All-rounder Ruston Chase says that Hetmyer has found a home in that position.
I think Shimron Hetmyer, because we had a meeting and we basically told him that we think he's the best person to go at number 3. And since he's taken up that number 3 role, the maturity and the responsibility he's played with, although he's been scoring quickly, I just think that the maturity, and I said the responsibility he's showing playing at number 3, I'm very impressed with what he's been doing.
Zimbabwe, however, arrived brimming with confidence after missing out on the last edition of the tournament. They stormed into the Super 8s unbeaten this year. West Indies head coach Darren Sammy is not taking this team for granted.
Who said Zimbabwe not supposed to be here? A lot of people say West Indies is not supposed to be here either. I think when you're in a World Cup, you got to respect every opposition. And that's what we've been doing. That's what I encourage my guys to do. Respect the opposition, but, believe in yourself, believe in your processes and your execution. So tomorrow, we approach it the same way like we would approach a game against India or Australia.
With tougher assignments against India and South Africa to follow, both teams will be eager to get points on the board early.
The Super 8s have already provided some shocking results as South Africa delivered a statement win, stunning defending champions India by 76 runs today. It was also a rough day for co-host Sri Lanka, who slumped to a 51-run loss against England. To the women now, who came up just short in a thrilling second one-day international clash against Sri Lanka women, falling by 14 runs. Here's more.
After being bowled out for 194 in the 48th over while chasing 209, Janelia Glasgow stood tall with a fighting 50 off 69 balls, striking 5 boundaries, but wickets fell at crucial moments, preventing the Windies from mounting a full-scale chase. Afi Fletcher chipped in with 20, but the contributions at the other end were not enough to overhaul the target. Sri Lanka's bowlers, led by Inoka Ranawira, who took 3 for 44, and Shamari Athapattu, with a key wicket in the final overs, applied consistent pressure, making it difficult for the West Indies batters to accelerate. Despite Glasgow's valiant efforts and some late runs, the Windies fell short of the target by 14. Earlier, West Indies struggled to contain Vishmi Gunaratne, whose patient 58 off 66 balls anchored Sri Lanka's innings of 208. The total proved just enough as the Windies found the chase tricky on a pitch that demanded both discipline and intent from the batters. While the loss is a setback, the fight shown by Glasgow and Fletcher provides a foundation for West Indies to build on as they look to regroup for the next match. Rajiv Surat Singh, CNC3 Sport.
Trinidad and Tobago's historic 4-man bobsled campaign at the Winter Olympics ended in disappointment yesterday after a dramatic crash at the Milano Cortina Center. Axel Brown, Zaveri Williams, Shaquille John and DeAndre John had already made history as the nation's first 4-man team at the Games. After clocking 55.72 seconds in Heat 1 to sit 27th, hopes were high before the sled lost its line in the second run, resulting in a DNF. In the aftermath of the incident, Brown reflected on the experience.
As we went into corner 4, it's a hard steer. I tried to steer right and my steering snapped.
It just came out in my hands. Turns out that the bolt that holds that thing together stripped the thread out, and it just happened to happen in that corner. After corner 4, the sled was incredibly loose, and that's because I had my head in the nose of the sled trying to see if there was anything left of the steering. Unfortunately, there wasn't, and I knew we were resigned to crash. Our Olympic Games ends on a low, but everybody's safe, everybody's fine. That's the most important thing. And up until that point, we've had an absolute blast. So couldn't have wanted for anything more from our Olympics, except maybe one more run today and maybe a 4th, but realistically that was unlikely.
All right, it's time now for a break. We'll be right back.
Folks, take a look at all these medical conditions. What does it have in common? This, ITIS. But what does ITIS really mean?
The suffix itis denotes inflammation of a specified organ or tissue.
ITIS really means inflammation. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chaguanas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
Are you tired of the same old boring drive home from work? Look no further. Get ready for the ultimate after-work rush with Freedom 106.5 FM's The Overdrive with Davey. Mondays to Fridays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Davey take you on a thrilling ride of non-stop entertainment and education. He covers the topics of the day, delves into the latest food and lifestyle trends, and brings dynamic guests from exciting professions to share their professional stories and experiences. Take advantage of this energizing and engaging experience. Tune into Freedom 106.5 FM, Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for The Overdrive with Davey, the ultimate way to end your day with a bang.
St. Lucia celebrates its 47th anniversary of independence today under the theme Duvan Assam, Creole for nourishing our people, strengthening our nation. Citizens took part in a wide range of activities, including the military parade, independence rally, and cultural showcases. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre attended the military parade and described it as a powerful reminder that independence is not sustained by celebration alone, but by continued commitment, discipline, and sacrifice. Chaos erupted at Guadalajara International Airport in Mexico this afternoon as the Jalisco New Generation cartel launched attacks in and around the airport. It is said to be in retaliation for today's reported assassination of their gang leader, nicknamed El Mencho. Video footage circulating online shows travelers ducking behind check-in counters and barricading themselves inside the airport lounge as gunfire echoed near the entrances. Federal forces and the National Guard have been deployed to the tarmac, disrupting travel in and out of the airport. The situation remains fluid and, quote, extremely volatile. This morning, Ukraine faced a deadly double bombing on the western side of the country, leaving at least one person dead and several injured. There were also reports of back-to-back explosions in the city of Lviv. Many Kyiv residents are in shelters following the new wave of Russian strikes on the capital. Officials have indicated that Russians may be preparing to use ballistic missiles. Meanwhile, Ukraine faces the prospect of its energy shortages worsening. Kyiv says it's being blackmailed by Slovakia and Hungary, who are threatening to cut off electricity supply. It's time now for tomorrow's weather forecast. The Met Office says tomorrow morning to afternoon conditions are generally hazy and breezy with a chance of an isolated shower. Tomorrow's maximum forecast temperature in Trinidad is 32 and 30 degrees Celsius in Tobago. Seas are moderate with waves reaching near 2 meters in open waters and below 1 in sheltered areas. That's it from us here in the capital port of Spain. Thank you so much for joining us for the weekend news. I'm Doris Polo. On behalf of the rest of the team, have a great night.
watching CNC3.
Access to tertiary education in Trinidad and Tobago has undoubtedly become easier over the last 2 decades. There are